Sometimes the things we do out of respect can quietly destroy us. We are taught to bow down, to stay quiet, to obey. We do it in school, at work, at home. We do it even when it hurts, even when we know something is wrong. And slowly, piece by piece, we begin to lose ourselves. This image says everything. One man is bowing with full respect. But what's on his head? A razor blade. And the other man, who looks pleased, is bleeding. He doesn't even know. This is the silent killer. Fake respect, forced respect, fearful respect. It cuts both ways. It hurts the one who bows, and it hurts the one who receives it. Respect should come from the heart, not from fear, not from pressure, not from power. When we respect others too much, at the cost of our voice, our truth, our dignity, we don't grow. We disappear. Today, let's talk about this dangerous side of respect, the side no one warns you about, the respect that looks polite on the outside, but slowly kills your spirit inside. This is not just about manners. This is about your life. Let's begin. Daniel was always a polite man. Since childhood, he was taught to respect everyone. Respect your parents, respect your teachers, respect your boss, respect elders. Daniel listened. He never argued. He never asked, "What about my respect?" He grew up like many others, quiet, kind, and soft-spoken. He helped others. He smiled even when he was tired. He said yes even when he wanted to say no. People liked him. They said, "Daniel is such a good man." But inside, Daniel didn't feel good. He felt small. He felt tired. He felt empty. At work, Daniel's boss gave him more and more tasks. Others worked 8 hours. Daniel worked 12. His boss praised him sometimes, but mostly the boss just said, "Good, now do this too." And Daniel, he said nothing, just smiled and did it. One day, his coworker asked, "Why don't you say no? Why don't you speak up?" Daniel replied, "I don't want to be rude. I respect him. He's my boss." But deep inside, Daniel was not happy. He started to lose his energy. His dreams faded. He had ideas, but he never shared them. He had feelings, but he kept them inside. He thought, "If I stay respectful, good things will come." But nothing came. His friends stopped calling. His boss used him. His family said, "You're always busy. We miss you." But Daniel didn't know how to stop. He thought respect meant sacrifice, and he kept sacrificing everything. Then one day, something happened. Daniel had worked late again. Everyone else had gone home. The office lights were off. Only his desk light was on. He sat there, tired, typing one last report. Suddenly, his hand stopped. He looked at the screen. He looked at the empty office. And he felt something strange in his heart. Not pain, but silence. Deep silence. Like a voice inside had stopped talking. He whispered, "Why am I doing this?" He had no answer. Daniel walked out of the building. He looked up at the sky. It was dark. The stars were quiet. And for the first time, Daniel cried. He didn't cry loudly, just a few tears. But those tears were full of truth. He wasn't weak. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't wrong. He was lost. He gave so much respect to others that he forgot to respect himself. And now he didn't even know who he was anymore. Daniel stayed awake that night. He lay in bed, eyes open, heart heavy. He looked at the ceiling and asked himself questions. Not questions about work, not about people, but questions he never asked before. Do I even like my life? Why do I always say yes? Why am I afraid to speak up? He didn't have answers, but he knew something was wrong, something deep inside, not outside. He started to remember things, little moments, like when he was a child and wanted to say no to his uncle who joked too much. But his mother said, "Don't be rude, respect him." Or when his teacher made him clean the class alone and said, "You're the good one, others won't do it." He remembered how people always said he was a good boy. But now, Daniel thought, was I good? Or was I just quiet? He started to see the difference between being kind and being silent. Next day, he went to work. Same desk, same boss, same heavy eyes. But Daniel had changed a little. He wasn't smiling the fake smile. He wasn't bending his back to say yes so fast. His boss came and said, "Daniel, I need you to finish these 3 files today." Daniel looked up slowly. His voice shook a little, but he said, "I can finish one today, not all 3. His boss blinked. "What did you say?" Daniel repeated, "I can only do one today. I need to go home on time." His heart beat fast. He thought the boss would shout, maybe even fire him. But the boss just stood there, quiet, then said, "Okay," and walked away. Daniel sat back. His hands were shaking. But inside, something felt good. For the first time, he respected himself. That small no was like a fire inside him. A small flame, but real. He started doing more of that. Slowly, step by step. At work, he spoke up. At home, he took rest. With friends, he said no when he wanted to. He didn't explain too much. He didn't shout. He just respected his own feelings. And something strange happened. People didn't hate him. Some respected him more. Some didn't like it. One coworker said, "You've changed. You used to be so sweet." Daniel replied, "I'm still kind, but I won't break myself anymore." He began writing again, drawing again. He had stopped those things years ago because he was too busy with work, with helping others. But now he made time for himself. He laughed more. He walked more. He didn't feel empty anymore. One weekend, Daniel went to a family dinner. His uncle, the same one who joked too much, tried again. Daniel looked at him and said, "That joke is not funny. Please stop." The whole table went silent. Then his mother smiled slowly. "You're speaking up now." Daniel nodded. "Yes, I should have done this earlier." His mother took his hand. "I'm proud of you. Respect is important, but blind respect, fearful respect, that can kill the spirit. It can kill your joy, your creativity, your freedom." Daniel learned that being honest is not disrespect. Saying no is not rudeness. Asking for peace is not selfish. He started meeting people like him, people who were always good, kind, quiet. He listened to their stories. Some were broken. Some were still scared. Some cried while talking. He said to one young man, "You don't have to bow to everyone. You're allowed to stand straight. You're allowed to have your own voice." That young man looked at him and said, "No one ever told me that." Daniel smiled. "Me neither, but I'm telling you now." Months passed. Daniel was different now. He still worked at the same job. He still lived in the same apartment. He still looked the same on the outside. But inside, everything had changed. He was no longer afraid to speak. He was no longer afraid to stop. Daniel had learned that real respect must go both ways. You give respect, but you also receive it. If only one person gives and the other always takes, that is not respect. That is control. One day, Daniel met a young woman named Lila. She worked in the same building. She looked tired, quiet, and always walked with her head down. Daniel noticed how people talked to her. Fast, rude, sharp. She never looked them in the eyes. One day in the elevator, Daniel smiled and said, "Hi, you work on the 6th floor, right?" Lila nodded. "You okay?" he asked gently. She looked surprised. No one had asked her that in a long time. She smiled a little. "I'm just tired. So many things." Daniel didn't push her to talk, but the next day she walked with him during lunch. "I see myself in you," Daniel said kindly. "Always saying yes, always smiling, always respecting everyone." She nodded slowly. "It's what we're told to do. Be kind. Don't talk back. Don't make trouble." "But at what cost?" Daniel asked. "Who respects us back?" Lila looked down. "No one, really." They sat in silence for a moment. Then she said, "Last week my manager shouted at me in front of everyone. I wanted to cry, but I just bowed my head. I said sorry, even though I didn't do anything wrong." Daniel felt pain in his chest. He knew that feeling too well. "You think staying quiet is safe," he said. "But it's not. It breaks your soul piece by piece." Lila whispered, "I'm scared to lose my job." Daniel nodded. "I understand. I was scared too. But being broken inside is worse than being jobless." He told her about the night he cried under the stars, the day he said no for the first time, the way people reacted, the fear, and the freedom. Lila listened with full attention. Her eyes were wet. "You're not alone," he told her. That one conversation started something in Lila. A small fire, just like Daniel once had. She didn't change everything in one day. But slowly, she started to speak. The next time her manager shouted, she said, "Please don't talk to me like that." The manager looked shocked. "Excuse me?" "I'll do my work," Lila said calmly. "But I won't take disrespect." People in the room froze. It was a quiet moment, but something powerful had happened. Daniel heard about it later. He smiled, not because someone got shouted at, but because someone stood up. Lila's world started to change too. More and more, Daniel met people like her. People who were not weak, but wounded. Not silent by nature, but silenced by others. People who thought respect meant surrender. He started writing about it, sharing online. "Respect can be a silent killer," he wrote in his first blog post, "because we use it to stay small. We use it to stay afraid." People responded. Hundreds of comments, messages, emails. Strangers wrote, "Thank you. This is my story too." Daniel understood something important. Many people are suffering quietly, not because they are weak, but because they believe being quiet is good, because they think pain is the price of being polite. But he wanted to tell them, it's not. You can be kind without being silent. You can be respectful without being scared. You can say no and still be a good person. Daniel started a support group, just once a month. People came to talk, to share stories, to cry, to feel heard. One woman said, "I've been respecting my husband for 20 years. I cook, I clean, I care. But he never says thank you. He never hugs me. Is this love? Or am I just a servant?" Another man said, "I never tell my boss I'm tired. I work weekends. I miss my kids. But I don't want to lose my job." Daniel listened to them all. Then he said, "Respect should never destroy you. If it hurts you, it's not respect. It's fear." The group grew bigger. Every month, more people joined. Some came with heavy hearts. Some came with broken voices. Some just came to sit and listen. But all of them carried one thing in common: the pain of giving too much and receiving too little. Daniel never gave big speeches. He just asked questions. Honest, soft questions. When did you stop speaking up? Why do you always say sorry? Who taught you to keep quiet? These questions opened locked doors inside people, and slowly they began to open up. One day, a teenage boy stood up. His hands were shaking. "At school, I let my friends make fun of me. I laugh with them, even when it hurts, because if I speak, they'll leave me." A woman held her heart. "That was me too, for years." Daniel said gently, "You deserve friends who see you, not just use you." Another man said, "I respected my father so much. I never told him I wanted to be a painter. Now I'm 40, and I work in an office. I smile on the outside, but I cry inside." Daniel looked at him kindly. It's not too late to paint. And that man did start painting again. Respect was no longer a wall. It became a mirror, a way to look inside, not just bow outside. Daniel also went back to visit his old boss. He walked into the office where he had once sat for hours, tired, used, invisible. His boss was surprised. "Daniel, how are you?" Daniel smiled softly. "I'm well. I just came to say thank you." The boss blinked. "For what?" Daniel said, "For teaching me what respect is not. I learned it the hard way." The boss laughed awkwardly. "Still the same Daniel?" Daniel looked him in the eyes and said, "No, I'm not." Then he walked out, calm, free. He wasn't angry. He wasn't bitter. He had just grown. Respect is a beautiful thing. It brings peace. It builds bridges. It shows love. But only when it flows both ways. When respect is one-sided, it becomes something else. It becomes fear. It becomes silence. It becomes pain. We often think being respectful means staying small, not speaking, not asking, not saying no. But that kind of respect is not healthy. It is a silent killer. It kills our dreams. It kills our voice. It kills who we are. True respect begins with self-respect. You must first respect your own time, your own heart, your own truth. You can be kind and still say no. You can be polite and still set boundaries. You can love others without losing yourself. Like Daniel, many people live their whole lives being the good one, the helper, the quiet one. But deep inside, they are tired, they are hurting, and they are waiting for someone to say, "It's okay to speak." Let this story be that voice for you. You don't have to bow your head to be loved. You don't have to break your back to be accepted. You are allowed to stand tall. You are allowed to protect your soul. Because real respect starts with you.